Well, first at 11, an update in the investigation into the death of Sergeant Sarah Roque at Fort Leonard Wood. Yesterday, investigators announced they had charged Specialist Wooster Rancy in relation to Roque's death. Chris Bryant is live at Fort Leonard Wood, where investigators just wrapped up a news conference on this case. And Chris, what did investigators tell you about these charges?
Yeah, good morning, Lee. Within the last half hour, that media briefing concluded here with command staff at Fort Leonard Wood into the murder and investigation into the murder of Sergeant Sarah Roque. Now, Major General Christopher Beck gave us some details about the arrest here on post at Fort Leonard Wood. Fort Leonard Wood announced that they had filed preferred charges against Specialist Wooster Rancy, 21 years old, out of Florida. The charges against Specialist Rancy is for the murder of Sergeant Sarah Roque on October 20th and obstruction of justice violations of the Articles 11, 118 and 31B of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Specialist Rancy is currently being held in pretrial confinement awaiting a preliminary hearing. For General Beck, this is the first homicide on post since 2019, and he is taking the events and investigation personally.
As a leader and a commander, I take this personally. I hold very dear that I'm responsible for what goes on in this installation. But I will tell you that personally what helps me are things like the very poignant memorial that the 5th Engineers had with our installation yesterday. The incredible support that all of us have gotten from our community. And just seeing leaders continue to lead from the front, to be engaged every single day in ensuring that what we do remains Army values based.
Now, Specialist Rancy is being currently held by the United States Army. He will eventually be transferred up to Fort Leonard Wood for the court-martial proceedings. The funeral for Sergeant Sarah Roque is scheduled to get underway tomorrow afternoon and back home in Indiana for her. When it comes to her K-9 Zorro, well, there hasn't been a decision made yet of what the next steps are for Zorro. The plans are to have Zorro return to full and active duty. We'll have more coming up today at noon and 4, but for now, on post at Fort Leonard Wood, Chris Bryant, KY3 News.